Hello everyone, Chaos here, and welcome to another old school RuneScape video. I've been grinding a little bit of Tombs of Amascut on stream as I was hunting for the pet, and almost every run I would have people asking me what invocations I normally use. How they would start with solo 150s, 200s, 300s, and setups to get their cosmetic items. And as most of you know, instead of taking 10 minutes to answer, I thought it would be the perfect time to update one of my previous videos, but this time giving you a comprehensive progression for TOA Invocations. Scapers, if this video is useful, remember to subscribe with notifications on, drop a cheeky like for the YouTube overlords, and come join our Discord with the link in the description if you are looking to start running some Tombs of Amascut. No real disclaimers for this one other than letting you know that my community and I crafted the following list you will see. And we are going to be going up in increments of 50 to let you know what the easiest way is to step up your game. I am not really going to take levels and gear into account, as this is going to depend on your skill and how easy or difficult certain invocations feel for you. When you start noticing a steep increase in difficulty, it would be a good time to get some better gear. If you would like a second video going over TOA gear progression, let me know in the comments below. That being said, let's begin. Our 50 invocation run is going to start with invos that don't really change your experience too much. We're going to start with a Lively Larvae, which whenever Kefri does the egg attack, laying eggs on the arena, it is going to send out more browner eggs, which are going to hatch some scarabs, but as long as you pray ranged, there's nothing you have to worry about. Blowing Mud is not going to change your solo experience whatsoever, because it is going to increase the Poop Line attack whenever it does another special from 1 to 2. You only need to watch out whenever you are running this invocation with a group of people, so you don't trap them and they take the Kefri bombs to the face. Not Just Ahead is going to give Zebak blood spells, but as long as you're running solo, this is not really going to change too much, and on lower invocations, even if you're not praying against magic, this attack is not really going to deal too much damage. However, I would recommend that you start timing this attack so you can pray magic and avoid healing Zebak for just a little bit. Shaking things up is going to give Baba a little bit of a larger radius for the boulder attack. Normally, it would be a 3x3 rock attack, and I would say the middle plus section of the rock is going to also have like an extra little tile that's going to be dangerous. However, shaking things up is going to change it to a 5x5, and the ones in the middle on the edges of the square are also going to be dangerous, so you have to watch out for those. But as long as you are, able to see it when you notice that Baba is going to use this attack, move just one extra tile and it's really not going to be that big of a deal. For our final invocation, we are going to be running Overclocked 1. If you don't run any overclocked invocations, even at the beginning, it is going to be even boring. You're going to have upwards of 4-5 seconds to, actually start attacking in P3 on the final boss. And I recommend getting used to the speed for Overclocked 1, so the next ones are going to be much easier. So this is what the 50 is looking like. For the 100 run, we are going to start activating death invocations, but we are going to start things slow with the persistence. This is going to allow you 5 deaths in the Tombs of Amascut, or technically 4, because your 5th death is going to be the last one, and then you are going to go outside and spend the 500 KGP. But if you're dying a lot, then make sure to, use up your 5 deaths, and if you want to start, once again, just leave the room and start over again. For Zebak, I recommend Arterial Spray. This is going to give a bigger blood radius for the magic spells, but even if you're running this in a group, all you have to do is stay away from each other, just 1 or 2 extra tiles, and it's really not going to be that bad. For the next one, we are going to turn on Gotta Have Faith. This one is a little bit more interesting because when Baba releases, I would say, or when the baboons actually come into the arena, after a few seconds they are going to start attacking the sarcophagus, and they are going to start throwing lava at the arena. I highly recommend you focus the baboons as soon as they appear, because this attack is high risk versus high reward. It is absolutely free, but if the baboons get it, you're going to have to start maneuvering around so you don't get damaged too much. For the next one, we're going to get into the final boss. I recommend Acceleration. All this is going to do is that the wardens in P2 are going to start attacking a little bit faster, but it's really nothing to worry about. You do have a solid 3, 4, 5 seconds to watch out for, and because of the animations, you are going to have a really clear indication as to what the warden is going to attack with. And for your 100, I do recommend also getting used to Overclocked 2. And this one might be a little steeper than the previous one, but as soon as you, or as long as you run it just once, the timing is going to be absolutely nice. and you're not really gonna have to worry about getting used to Insanity, which we're gonna see much later, but overclock the 2 in our 100 just to get used to those faster attacks and of course to deal more damage. At 150 we can start seeing more items out of a purple as long as you finish the raid, and we are going to start with softcore. We move this from persistence, and this time you're only allowed 2 deaths before the third one is actually your last one, and you have to go out of the raid, reclaim your stuff, and pay 500 KGP. I wholeheartedly believe that if you are doing 150s, you shouldn't really die more than twice. If you're doing it with a big group of learners, then of course, as long as you hit those 2 deaths, go out, and then so your entire team or yourself solo don't have to pay that fee. Next one, we're going to activate Deadly Prayers. Whenever you take damage off prayer, even if you are actually mitigating damage if you're praying correctly, your prayer is going to be drained by a little bit, depending on how much you got hit. This is going to be a perfect time to start actually forcing you to make less mistakes, and the prayer is going to be the first, one of the most important things that we can take care of, so you actually don't mess it up on higher invocations, and you can start getting used to this from 150. Next, we are going to turn on a diet. This is going to prevent you from using hard food, and obviously if you're bringing something like sharks, manta rays, anglers, karambwans for combo eat, this is where you would start bringing brews, because this is absolutely free. Keep in mind that if you die, you're not going to even get the Honey Locust, which is the item that you get if you die, which is going to heal some HP and prayer. The last one we're going to activate is Mind the Gap. This one might seem a little steep for 150, but you absolutely have to start getting used to this one, and it's really not that difficult. If you're doing the solo, all you have to do is stay on the edges of the arena for Baba, and as long as you don't stay in the middle, you're not going to be instantly killed in one attack when that transition comes. And the Mind the Gap is going to be absolutely crucial for later on, because this one is also absolutely free. You only need to care about positioning, and that is going to be our 150 for us to start seeing maybe a few more purples along the road. Our next 50 raid level points go as follows. Blood Thinners for Zebak is going to change the big blob of blood into 3 smaller ones, and if you're playing solo, this is really not going to be that bad because all of them are going to chase after you. As long as you don't step next to them or on top of them, they are not going to heal themselves and, leave the arena as fast as possible. If you're doing this in a group, this could be a little bit more disruptive because each blob of blood could go for any of your teammates, and it is definitely something you have to watch out for. Feeling special for Akka is going to make the specials deadlier. The pattern, or the Simon Says special attack, is going to be faster. Whenever your character is painted black, it is going to leave orbs behind you, but also in front of you when you reach your destination tile. And only if you're doing this in a group, if your characters are painted white, then the explosion is going to have a bigger reach, so you definitely have to get away from your teammates, just a little bit farther if you are in a diagonal or in a horizontal or vertical tile. For the final boss, we are going to turn on Ancient Haste. This is going to make the pillar charge a little bit faster, so this is where damage is going to be a little bit of an issue, and you might have to get, slightly better levels or gear. For the final one, we are activating Penetration. This is going to make the pillar attack, so the skulls, the fan attack, and the X attack, I just call them. If you get hit by them, it is going to be a little bit worse, and it is also going to deactivate your prayer for a little bit. So this in combination with either the arrow, the scimitar, or the purple orb from the wardens could potentially get you killed. I have had that happen a few times, and it doesn't really feel that good. So this is our 200, and it's really not that bad. Your first 250 is not going to look that different, because all I recommend activating after this is Walk the Path. Now this one is going to be a little bit more random, and it could potentially not have that much of an impact in your raid, because this is how it works. If you have this invocation active, whenever you finish your first fight, it is going to have a chance of randomly adding 1 level to 2 other paths, meaning that you can get lucky and your second fight couldn't even be leveled. However, after you're done with your second fight, it is going to level up the other 2 paths, meaning that you will have actually a guaranteed chance of the next fight being leveled up. And then when you're done with your third fight, then the last one is going to get that 1 level. So with Walk the Path, you could even be fighting a level 2 monster for your final fight. For this one is going to, be better for points, because the higher the level for all the demi-bosses that you're going to fight, the more points, and therefore you're going to get better chances at purples. So Walk the Path is definitely what you want to get used to at your 250. Before we get into our 300, I recommend getting used to Insanity and also other invocations that are going going to be crucial later down the road, but that we haven't practiced so far because they may be a little bit steeper. I want you to turn on Aerial Assault, which is going to turn Kefri bombs into a 3x3 radius. You're gonna have to watch out for this one if you're doing it in a group, but solo it's not going to be that bad. For Zebak, Upset Stomach is going to make it throw more acid whenever doing specials, and it is going to force you to, move faster and of course break those jugs so you have free tiles in order to hide behind. Boulder Dash is, I would say, definitely the most difficult one out of these ones because you definitely need to move faster during that special because the timing for that is going to be a lot tighter and you definitely don't want to get caught by those boulders. And of course, closing out the 150 is going to be Insanity. For this one, remember that it is going to change wherever the Warden in P3 left off, so it is not going to always start on the right, and then to the left, and then to the middle. That's where you have to stand. It is going to change, however, you can, watch my guide for that one. We are only looking at invocations here. So with only these 4, you're going to be able to practice these, I would say, more difficult invocations, and you're not going to be punished by them, because you're not going to have to pay without any death or time invocations. Alright, time to get into experts. I want you to turn on Walk For It, which is going to give you a 40-minute time limit to finish the raid, and for this one to compensate, we are going to remove Blood Thinners and the Jungle Japes for those 10 points. And to basically copy the 250 from the previous segment, and to turn on Insanity. That's it, that is all you need to do in order to start getting into those higher level raids to see even more purples. However, if you want to do a 300 without Insanity because, you're not up for the challenge, you may be lagging a little bit, what you can do is that you can activate Hardcore, which is going to be a little bit more, I would say, risk versus reward, because even if you die, then that's it, you're gonna have to pay those 500k. Turn on Aerial Assault because you have already practiced it. Go back to Blood Thinners for Zebak, and then we are going to activate a new invocation called Stay Vigilant for Akka. This is going to make the monster change attack styles randomly, and of course you're going to have to watch out for those gear switches. And finally, because we already also practiced Boulder Dash, then of course this is going to round up the 300 without Insanity, so make sure to practice that timing for those rocks to make this a little easier. If you want that golden backpack, the first thing we're going to do is leave Hardcore, which is only going to allow us 1 death, and we are going to start playing around with the supply invocations. Turn on Need Some Help, which is going to, give you less supplies, around 33% less according to the game. Leave Aerial Assault on, Blood Thinners, Boulder Dash, and then also remove Jungle Japes. At 350 is when I was starting to get more used to this, expert, and obviously the better practice and the more you do this, the easier it is going to be. So 350 at first, if you're doing your golden backpack for the very first time, is going to sound a little bit steep. But after you get comfy with this, these invocations are absolutely free. If you want to do 400s either solo or in a group, this is a really good setup that I do recommend. The first thing we are going to start turning on is more Overlord, which is going to give Kefri 1 extra Scarab for you to deal with whenever she is recovering. For the first cycle, you are going to get a melee Scarab, and for the second one, you are going to get an extra ranging Scarab, so you and your team, or even if you do it solo, are going to have to get on those Scarabs ASAP, because the ranger can damage quite a lot, the melee, even if you trap it, is going to heal Kefri, and of course the major can deal massive damage if you let it charge it all the way. Go ahead and turn on Upset Stomach. We have already practiced this, and this is going to be a pretty easy, addition to our points. We're going to leave Stay Vigilant for Akka and the Jungle Japes, so, as long as you're doing Red X, which I would recommend start getting used to, which you can also see in my 500 invocation run, then you're not even going to have to deal with the baboons, and it's going to be free 5 points to round out the 400. If you want your Menophyte Ornament Kit at a 425, I'd recommend adding only 2 more invocations, and we're going to start with Need Less Help. According to the game, you're going to get 66% less supplies, which is not always 66% less, it is just a chance that you're going to see less supplies from the helpful spirits. It is not going to change that much, and at this level you should have really good gear, so these supplies are not going to be that much of an issue. I don't think this should potentially kill a run anytime. The last one is going to be Path Seeker, which is going to make every single boss start at level 1 when you enter the tomb, and along with Walk the Path, this is going to, make the monsters a little bit stronger, and of course can see them at a higher level a little bit early in the raid. So, remember that the path invocations are naturally going to give you more points because everything is going to be scaled up, so this is good to start seeing even more purples. And finally, for that coveted tank kit, I want you to copy everything we have seen so far, but we are going to add 4 invocations to bring that raid level to 500. The very first one is No Help Needed, which is only going to give you 1 supply of each, according to which one you pick for either life, chaos, or power. Next, we are going to activate Pathfinder, which means everything is going to start at level 2, so those final 2 fights could potentially get a little dicey. Next, we are going to activate Dehydration, meaning that you are not going to be able to heal with anything that is not a yellow Charis. Ambrosia, Bruise, and hard food because of the on a diet invocation is going to be off the table. And you're just going to have to get used to healing with a yellow Charis and having prayer up at all times. However, the final one is going to be overly draining, meaning that whenever you use a special attack, it is going to drain 100% of your special. So this is why for your 500 I recommend grabbing double power, because you're going to have 2 adrenaline potions, so you can drink them, and it is going to be able to, it is going to allow you to heal with that yellow Charis twice for, that run, and so you don't really have to rely on only one special for either of the fights, which I personally recommend using at Akka, Zebak, and the final fight. Ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you enjoyed and you learned something useful, and hopefully you can get the courage needed in order to start leveling up those raids to see even more purples and make a ton of money to hopefully see a solo shadow in the future. If you made it this far, let me know what your favorite or least favorite invocation is and why. Simple as that. Leave the term RSN in your comment along your RuneScape username, and we will draw a winner live on Friday's stream, so you can walk away with a bond, which we will coordinate on Discord. I want to give a massive thank you to all the people you see on screen right now for monetarily supporting this channel and this project that I love so much, to feed my starving family with tacos. If you would like to join this list of legends, click the join button below and see all of the cool perks you can get in the videos, in the live streams, in the Discord. I'm pretty sure there's something you might be interested in. Other than that, that's pretty much it, and in the next one, again, like I said in the previous video, I don't know exactly what I'm going to be uploading because I am juggling a couple of ideas, but I'm pretty sure it is going to be a banger. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day, have a wonderful week, and of course, I will see you in the next one. Peace.